Hi, and welcome to another episode of All Things Considered. I just did a video a little bit ago about voting and running for mayor and connecting with liberal voters because one of my viewers said that Seattle is very liberal and the state of Washington is very liberal, and I understand that, which gave me an idea. His question, in my video response gave me an idea for a new video. And that video is, why can't Seattle stay the same? I get it. All things change. Nothing stays the same. Seattle's not the same as it was back in the early to mid 1800s, 1850s, when Seattle was first founded. It's not the same. Even 1900s, it changed. 1920s, 1930s, 50s, it's changed. When Boeing came in and got on the landscape, it changed Seattle again. But everything that changed still had kind of a familiar feel to it. It connected with its past. Now I'm asking myself, what exactly in Seattle today is connecting with its past? The people that are moving into Seattle from another state or another country or another state or another city, another country, another city, they tend to want to recreate Seattle in their image, the way they want Seattle to be. Instead of moving to Seattle the way it is, they are moving to Seattle to change it. They think that they're going to be able to make it into what they want it to be. Instead of trying to fit in, they're trying to move people out. And I don't know if they're doing that on purpose. But I've noticed that downtown, especially downtown Seattle, is a lot of up and coming computer techs going to college. They're the elite. They think they're the cool kids at the cool table, and everybody else is just background noise. And so it's like the city seems to be catering to them. They think they are the future of Seattle, but what future and what Seattle are they catering to? What future and what Seattle are they planning on turning itself into? Do they want to be Seattle of the past and keep some of the culture and some of the traditions alive? When I lived in Seattle back in the 90s, it was very cool to live there. It was very nice. Anybody and everybody could live there. If you were poor, on disability, Social Security, SSI, and stuff, you can still have a slice of Seattle and enjoy life there. If you were making minimum wage, you could still enjoy. If you were middle class or the rich, you could still enjoy. They had everything for everybody. Now it's like they're falling over themselves to cater to the rich. They're catering to the tech people. Seattle no longer cares about everybody else. They don't care about the poor. They don't care about the minimum wage people. Y'all are just there and y'all are just tagging along. It's almost as if Seattle is turning into a love-struck whore. And I hate to use that phrase, but that's what it seems like. They are pimping themselves out. Seattle is pimping itself out to the largest dollar, to the sugar daddy. Seattle wants a sugar daddy, whereas Seattle before would stand on her own 2 feet, and Seattle was proud of who she was. Now Seattle wants to be whatever the rich want her to be, and I think that stinks personally. That's why I want to run for mayor, because I want Seattle to become proud again. I want Seattle to become a proud woman again. Seattle, yes, you are a lady, and it's time that you started acting like it again. Don't pimp yourself out to the quickest dollar. Don't do that, please. You are hurting everything that I love about Seattle. I don't think it's wrong for the rich to make all the money they want in the world. I do not want to pull the rich down. I've said this in the past. I don't want to pull the rich down into poverty, but I don't want the rich to push the poor further down into poverty. I want the rich to be able to give the poor an opportunity. Although I do not believe that the poor have it within them at the moment to realize the opportunity that they could have. They are so used to being poor, I think they have mentally conditioned themselves to stay that way. Um, when I lived in Seattle, I lived in Capitol Hill. Yes, it was a predominantly gay neighborhood, and that's fine. Lots of culture, lots of art, lots of flower shops, restaurants. But I was just a short hop, skip, and a jump from the community college right on the corner of Pike and Broadway Street. And I could walk all the way into downtown to where the Pike Place Market was at every day. And I'd take the bus back home. Didn't need a car, for me anyway. I did not need a car because I lived in downtown pretty much. And every place I needed to go, I could just walk. And it was great. The fresh air, the salt from the ocean. Puget Sound, you could smell the salt in the air. It was lots and lots of green grass, lots of trees. You could see the mountains in the background. It was just fun. When I got downtown, working at the Pike Place Market and an art gallery, I got to meet loads of people. I would sit there and talk with them as I sketched their portraits. And yeah, it was just really a gorgeous time. I also worked in the fish market where I tossed fish. I didn't do the tossing, I did the catching. And if I missed it and it slid out of the newspaper, I had to pay for that fish. And let me tell you, salmon is still quite expensive. Brass Pig's no longer there. It's been moved up a little higher so nobody could accidentally run over it again. But when I was downtown, I could walk to the Space Needle to have lunch. Or I could take the monorail from the Westlake Shopping Center all the way over. Or I could walk down into Pioneer Square and I could go and I could have lunch at one of the little pizzerias that was down there. Tony Roma's used to be there by where the old King Dome was at. I could go and enjoy barbecued ribs. Although I have seen and I have had much better than Tony Roma's. I think they have went downhill quite a bit, and I'm pretty positive that they're no longer there anymore. Now, another thing I liked about Seattle when I lived there was the fact that it had a lot of old-timey hotels from the old days. And I stayed at the Commodore more than once just for the feel of it. There was a few hotels from the late 1800s, early 1900s that were in Chinatown, which is down in Pioneer Square, or past Pioneer Square, a little bit past further than Pioneer Square, next to First Hill. I'd stayed in several of those hotels just so I could say I did that. And when I was hitchhiking around America, predominantly the West Coast, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Seattle, Everett, Washington, Denver, Colorado, various other places of that nature, I stayed at a lot of really old flophouse hotels that had a lot of rich history. And if they would have had digital cameras back then, oh man, I would have had a lot of stories. I went to a lot of old theaters from the late 1800s, early 1900s. Seattle had such a theater in downtown Seattle. It was just a one theater. I saw Batman there in I want to say 1989 or 1990, I think. But it was worth the experience of seeing it in a hotel that was seeing it in a theater that was almost 100 years old. Now, my question is, why does Seattle have to change to be current? Why does Seattle have to change and lose its history and identity in order to be current and relevant? Give me your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Seattle is too current? Do you think Seattle has changed way too much? Are you happy with the way Seattle is now and don't see a problem with it? Maybe you are a longtime resident of Seattle and you've seen it change and it feels so uncomfortable that it's like it has amnesia and it does not remember who it is. Anyway, put a comment in the comments below. If you have an idea for a better video, please put it in the comments below. Hit that big old thumbs up. I can't do it without you. If you like my videos, thumb it up. If you want to subscribe to my videos, it takes a you and it takes a me, a you and I, to get this done. We're trying to make America a better place for tomorrow. Seattle as well. We're trying to make it better tomorrow than it was yesterday. These things can only be done by us. U.S., United States, us. Anyway, I will let you go on that note. This has been All Things Considered. Thank you again for entertaining yourselves with my video. I appreciate everything you do. This has been All Things Considered. Have a good night, Seattle, America, and all points beyond.